Morning, everybody. I had a conversation with a neighbor the other day, and when I pulled back from it, I was trying to see why I even asked for it, or how I engaged in it, and what I could learn from it and do differently or better or improve, or as I tend to do with things, especially ones that get me revved or tap into a side of what I do for a living, which is live, and then guide people on understanding what their bodies are doing while they live, whether it's any symptom of healing or injury of any kind, chronic or acute. But this neighbor asked me while I was training outside, so I was a little like, all right, and I was doing something dangerous, but it's fine. I chose to do it where I was doing it, and it's in an area of traffic, and if I didn't want to be bothered, I would have done it somewhere else or not made eye contact or whatever. But anyway, she asked why, if I wouldn't mind explaining why the red light glowing from my apartment at all times, why do I do it? Why do I have it? And I was like, it's a fantastic question. I go over it with visits and one-on-ones all the time. So it started when I first moved to California. I loved how much sunlight there was here. I was living near the beach, and it'd be kind of cloudy, but when I would go to my office inland a little more, it was just always sunny. And so my office during daylight hours, I never had any lights on. It was just sunlight. It was just daylight. But then I was working evenings too, and I had to turn on lights at evening, and it was just the overhead light. And I would never do research on the ill effects or harmful effects or unhealthy effects of light, because it just doesn't hold. It doesn't make any sense. All I knew is that I didn't like the light above my head. So then I started thinking, okay, what light do I like? Well, I love the sun. I love this glowing orb of, whatever you want to say nerd-wise, but I just like the glow of the sun. I love campfire embers, like when a campfire kind of either just the fire itself or when it dies down and it's just an ember. I love those. So I wonder if I could do that. So I did. I got candles and candles and candles. I had hundreds of candles. And when the sun would set and it would get too dark to do some of the work in my office that was taking place, I would just light a bunch of candles. There were candles everywhere. Well, as you can imagine, that got expensive and dangerous. And I'm like, okay, I was starting to think lanterns or sconces with candles and just have a fuckload of them, almost like a castle, like a medieval castle, almost like torches. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I can't do this. This is going to get too expensive, and I don't want to burn something that just didn't seem safe. Okay, what's the next thing that looks like a campfire ember? And I stumbled across salt lamps. And I saw that they were relatively inexpensive, and then the bulbs were inexpensive, and they were sustainable. These bulbs last like 3 years with them being on at all times. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I think I had like 38 to 40 salt lamps that I would turn on in my office. And so it was just this campfire glow at all times. Well, then people started to take the research on salt, and heated salt is negative ions, and negative ions counter positive ions because phones and computers and blue light and all this. Like, I don't have any idea what any of that is. No, I just got them because I like the glow of it. And so then carry that over, because my office was just an extension of my apartment or my living space, which is why they were very similar. My office was where I would want to live. And as a result, everybody that would come in, everything that they would touch, see, feel, taste, experience, or look at just had them feeling differently. I mean, even delivery people were like, this place is awesome. I'm like, exactly. Why would a place selling guidance and healing not be awesome? I don't understand it. And so at my house, I have salt lamps that kick on timers, and then all the little outlet bulbs, I just have these little red bulbs that I buy at the pet store. Again, no idea, no research, no anything. I don't have any idea on frequency, nor would I ever research frequency. It just doesn't make any sense or apply to any way, shape, or form to what your body's going to be doing or what you need to be concerned with. So that's what I was telling her. At the end of this whole thing, it was probably a 3 or 4 minute, riveting, I thought. And she was like pulled in. Then she goes, right, but why do you do them? What are the benefits of the red light? And I stared at her for a while, and I've known her for 2 years, so I'm just like, and she's like, started to go inside and think about what she just fucking asked. And then I was like, what did I just spend 5 minutes explaining? Walk me through what the moral of everything I just said to you. Well, right, I get it. You like it. You like the view of it. You like the color of it. Is there anything else? But she was expecting this long, drawn-out therapeutic answer on health benefits, disease prevention, injury recovery, skin, hormones, wavelengths, frequencies, light, red, spectrum, sun, anti-blue, this, that. Oh my God. And it just hammered home where we are, that my story wasn't using words that were big. I didn't research words that were confusing. I didn't get all these other words as I've thrown out all my health and medical books and medicine books, because there just won't be one that exists that anybody needs to read regarding health or medicine on the human. So even just the fitness and health and medicine sections of Barnes & Noble, they don't apply to a human. Not at all. Not at all. Unless you're going in to see what doesn't work, which is cool, and then just apply the opposite of that, or to learn. That's totally fine. You'll learn more about use from a book of trees or a book of the ocean till they turn that book into a pharmaceutical or natural healing, ancestral, herbal remedy book based on health benefits and disease prevention. And then they just lose the person. But that was the point. This is where we're at. She's just a snapshot of where the majority are, where everything that is in somebody's life has to be for a reason, for some sort of therapeutic intervention, some sort of health benefit. And that's why I said the danger of this health conscious wave going on now, and why we're seeing people plummeting off a cliff, is the health conscious. You would never be health conscious, but health conscious is just another word for disease, symptom, illness, injury conscious. That's all we're thinking about. The only reason we train is so that we don't get injured, or so that we can throw a ball and not get injured, or get tackled and not get concussed, or play basketball or horse and not rip a Achilles. The only reason we would have any kind of lighting in our house is because of our hormones, or because of our fertility, or because of our recovery, or because of our energy, or our moods, or our fatigue levels. The only reason we put food on the table is, and the foods that don't exist in our cupboard, because they cause cancer, and the foods that we do, they heal cancer and they prevent cancer. And this is it. And even just sitting naked in the sun right now, people would go, okay, that's vitamin D, that's depression, that's, you're maximizing hormones, you're maximizing testosterone, you have sun on your balls, therefore it's testosterone, this. Everything has become in our lives to either prevent or heal a disease or injury. That's all we're thinking about at all times. And that's what the story is. And that's why every form of medicine fails, is because the starting point is that symptoms and injuries and any kind of expression of the body is something to be feared or prevented. But if you understand why those are there in the first place, you would never prevent guidance. You would never prevent advice that's coming from the purest source. You would never prevent a lesson. You would never prevent wisdom and an opportunity to learn, just like you wouldn't if you had paid for a conference or paid for an education or you wouldn't then have somebody go prevent the school from teaching you whatever the hell they're going to teach you. You're going to have to unlearn anyway when we're getting into healing and medicine. So prevention and fearing and the reason we do things has to change. And until that changes, you won't have any idea what the next step would be. You're always going to be lost and can't see your next step. I don't say lost. You're always going to never be on a path that you've ever been on before if you're going to try to understand healing. You just know your next step, but that next step becomes confusing because every reason you're doing it is to counter the whole point of why you're to see the understanding of doing it in the first place. And so again, we don't have this understanding of what the body is, so therefore every change after becomes change to prevent illness, disease, injury, or fix illness, or treat, cure, remedy illness, disease, injury. Then that means the changes, even movement and sunlight, are now being applied to something that is not true. And if you want to test it, just repeatedly go, are you at peace with what you're doing? Because pick anything, it should work. Pick whatever, it should work. You should be at peace and it should work over and over and over and over and over without fail. But as with this little encounter, you can see that even just something at, hey, why red lights? Again, the expectation, the intention behind my explanation was to be hormone based or frequency or wavelength or light research and all this shit on light, disease and glasses and all this stuff. It's just, that's just not, it's not sustainable. It's not wrong if somebody wants to choose that, but your body's going to come back and tell the truth, and you're going to have to face it. And if you're going to continue to say that it's hormones or continue to say that it's moods and emotions and energy, fine, keep going. How's that working out for you? I'm having to tell a whole lot of stories to describe, to cover up while my body's telling the truth, this singular truth. But I'm having to keep finding stories. Well, my lights are off, or well, there's mold and the red light, and that's what. And oh, it's the moisture in the air, and it was the person I was living with, and it was the foods in the cupboards, and my landlord didn't. I mean, Jesus, God damn. Oh, it's just one after the other until we put it back all on the individual, all on us, and that's a superpower. So food for thought. But I love the experiences. That's my research. Research is out in life. And back to it. Hair food. Even me putting food in my hair. Was it to cure this or to prevent this? Nah. I just thought I could go with food to a part of my body. Just like I would put lotion and oils and food on my skin after I get out of a shower. I'm not doing it to prevent or cure anything. It's just food. Food for my hair. Recipe on the subscription page. That doesn't really matter. Alright. Back to sunning. Time to flip. Like a burger.